everybody, I hope y'all are doing well. I hope y'all are having a great day today. So today I thought that we would get into the topic of good and bad. And not just good and bad in general, but good and bad manifesting or good and bad life. So this topic is coming out of a question, and it's kind of a question that's been asked in different ways. So the question is, do you just manifest positive things, or can you be manifesting negative things? How are negative things manifested? Why does it seem that, your life is getting so much better, but my life is not? Or, why does it seem that I'm manifesting some good things, but then a lot of negative things are also being manifested? So in general, I'm going to come at this topic from like a life perspective. So it's not going to be necessarily all about manifestation, but it will answer that question in itself anyway. So you can still get that answer. So whether or not you're manifesting or doing any of that, this topic will be relevant. So when I had my non-dual realization maybe like a year and a half ago, in that moment, and literally in that moment, that's like one of the first things that you experience when you're experiencing nothingness, is that what this is not good or bad. It's totally neutral. At all times, it's always neutral, and it can't not be neutral. So everything is accepted. The good, the bad, the ugly, they're all equal, and they all equal love. Believe it or not, they all equal love. And I know that sounds kind of strange if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, but love is not a romantic thing. Love is this acceptance and of what is. So when you're seeing life for what it is, it's just love, it's bliss, it's beauty. So when you have this realization, you see through everything that clouds our perception, our thoughts, our conditioning, our beliefs that we've adopted, things that we've adopted about ourselves, our self-concept. All of those things cloud that neutralness, and they either paint it more negative or more positive, depending on, the way that we're showing up at that moment. So it's not that what's happening is good or bad. It's how we're experiencing it from within ourselves, that person, what they are, what they've experienced in life, what they believe about themselves, and all of these things picture and create this aliveness of this story that could either be good or bad. But the truth is that there is no good or bad. You're perceiving that. So there is no good or bad. What this is perfect. It's neutral. It's not good or bad. It just is. So there is no good or bad. So even if you're manifesting and you're saying to yourself, this stuff that I'm manifesting isn't so good, I don't like this. Well, it's not that. You could be manifesting things from your subconscious that you don't necessarily like, but you are manifesting things that you're putting your attention on. So whatever it is that you're manifesting, it is something that you're putting your attention on, or it wouldn't be showing up in your reality. So first you want to examine that. How is it that it even occurred in your reality? Secondly, some things might manifest in a way to make space for something bigger and greater, to allow for one of your more positive manifestations. So we all have, like, you could think of it as, I've heard it explained as a container. Okay, our container is what we believe that we can hold. So some people have a very, very small container, meaning they are very limited. They can only hold so much. So they probably don't have very much in their life. And then there's people that have grown their container, through life experiences, through, maybe successes and things in their life. So they've grown their container and they can hold more. They can hold more money. They can hold more responsibilities. They can hold more love. They can hold more. So we begin to grow. And so at a certain point, that container can completely burst. And that's when you have a non-dual awakening, or you just realize or understand, or however it is that you came to non-duality. And when you realize that this is all nothing and everything at one time, and everything is just happening, you're not this person, you are literally everything and nothing at the same time. When that happens, your container bursts. And when that container bursts, everything is possible for you. You're, able to move along with any part of infinity. So that container is very important for what your experience is. So you might have a very small container and you're manifesting, and you are manifesting things and you're growing. But then there's this tension here. Maybe you're getting too much money and you're not knowing what to do with it, or it feels uncomfortable or strange. And so you're not growing any more than this. So your container kind of also determines that. And your container, or, this space that you can hold what's coming in, is very closely associated with what you believe of God or yourself. What do you believe your true nature to be? Because what our true nature is oneness with God. So when we're one with God, we have all of that power. We have a direct connection and source to God. So we're right there with God. We're one. So when you're one, nothing can stop you. There's nothing outside of that. That is all there is. So if that's all there is, that's where everything is. And you can have as much or whatever, or as little, or whatever you want to experience in your experience. So when you are tapped into the divine, that's when your container is burst and you can have all of the experiences that you want. But let's say that your container is small, because I have been in a space where my container was small. I've been in a space where my container was small. I led a pretty average life, believing pretty average kind of things. So you could say just pretty normal average person. You could say like middle class, middle income. So my container was like middle income. So if it didn't fit in with middle income, it wasn't happening. So that was my container. So anything that would happen, it would still bring me back to my middle-sized container. So let's say that I won some money gambling, or I won the lottery or something. I would get the money, but just like that, I would spend it real quickly, and I would be back in my middle-class container. There was no like thinking about investing it or growing it. It was just spending it and getting back into my container, because that's my comfort zone. So I would only be manifesting in that container because I wasn't growing it. And the only way you can really grow it is by realizing your true nature. And you can realize your true nature by going with your heart, what resonates for you. So watching these videos, reading books, doing inner work, doing spiritual work, doing things that are opening of your mind, becoming more open in that way. And then things that bring you outside of your mind, things that bring you more into your heart, meditation, being in nature, following your heart, listening to intuition. All of those things will begin to open you to having those experiences of oneness, where you can experience your divine nature. But even if you don't experience it, even if you understand it and you can embody it, then you will have that direct source connection with God. Your container will be a lot bigger. But when it's small, you're only manifesting within that realm. So you might be manifesting like, okay, you won $500 in the lottery. Okay, so now you have that, and you spend it and you lose it and you're still in the middle. Or maybe something else happens, like something like, okay, your car breaks down. Okay, that looks like it might be really, really bad. And so you're worried, and then now we find out that they can't fix it. The engine's blown. That's even worse. So now you're having all this hard time. It seems like a struggle. It seems like you're manifesting worse situations. But then you realize, oh, well, I have to buy another car. And yes, you have to spend some money. So you go spend some money and you follow your heart and you actually buy the car that you feel in your heart that you love. And you get that car and it's a great deal and you have it. And then before you know it, you're manifesting more money to replace the money that you spent on the car. So it's all happening, but you're still within that container. You might have a little bit of a better car, but you're not going to be growing bigger. And you have to grow your what you believe about yourself in order for your container to grow. So self-development, some of those things that I talked about will do that for you, because you'll begin to see yourself as more expansive, more you'll begin to see yourself not as insecure, but as more powerful, as more confident. So there's differences. You manifest different things at different times. Now here's the other component to it. We're all going to have these moments and these things that we don't particularly prefer. So there are preferences and there are things that we prefer to other things. So even myself, when I'm manifesting or I'm having all these positive, amazing things happen and I'm loving it and my energy is up and it's so great, suddenly I could have something come in where, okay, all of a sudden now I lost my keys. All of a sudden I had somebody come in and complain about me, or I had, so these things will happen. These negative, sort of supposedly negative things will happen. We consider things negative more based on our preferences. Like I say, in this reality, nothing is good or bad. It's only what it is to you. That situation that you lost your keys might be negative to you. That might be bad for you. But to the locksmith that you're going to have to call to come unlock your car and help you get a new key, that's a bonus. That person now has more income. So it's neutral. It's dependent on who is experiencing it and how they prefer that. So let's say that you have you have something like that happen to you. All right, so you have to make it work for you. Anything that happens in your life, you have to make it work for you. So I had posted on my community page a video. It was a music video from the soundtrack Pocahontas, and the soundtrack song was Colors of the Wind. There we go. I was trying to think what it was. So Colors of the Wind. So in that song, please go back and listen to it, or listen to it if you haven't. It talks about can you paint with all the colors of the wind? So that's the chorus. It plays and it has other very beautiful parts. But it's talking about, can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Yes, you can do this and that and that and that. And so you can be successful, you can have money, you can have all these things. But can you paint with all the colors of the wind? And to me, what that's symbolizing is, can you paint with everything? Can you paint with the good, the bad, the ugly? Can you transform? Can you paint with all those colors of life? So you're going to have something happen where, okay, you're cooking and all of a sudden you spill the pasta sauce everywhere. Okay, that looks horrible. Like what happened? But can you paint with that? Can you transform that into something fun? Can you sing? Can you laugh? Can you make a joke of it as you clean it up? Can you paint with those colors of the wind? Or are they going to bring you down, bring you tighter, closer, more constricted? You don't want that. You just want to be flowing with life and just moving with it. So paint with all the colors of the wind means when these negative things come in, when that client complains, when this happens, when you lose the keys, how can you make that work for you? Always think that. How is that going to work for me? Or I know that this is happening for the greater good. I know that this is happening for a greater purpose. So always having that mindset, and you will see how that thing that happened that you think is negative is actually something positive. But you have to be able to paint with all the colors of the wind. All right, life is going to throw all kinds of surprises at you. Life is spontaneous. Life is alive. So this is what this is. This is life, and it's coming through you. So, all of these things you're experiencing sometimes that are so crazy, they're coming through you. So there are actually experiences that you've imagined. They're actually experiences that they've already been. They're here and now at all times. So this isn't anything new, okay? But it is definitely very entertaining. It could be very draining if you're not painting with the colors of the wind. So I know what it's like to be draining. It happens to me still now. So over this past week, my energy's been very, very low. I don't know what it was, and then somebody had mentioned something about a lunar eclipse and what do they call it? A portal of some kind. And so I was like, wow, maybe that is what it is. I used to teach kids in elementary school. So when we would have a full moon, yeah, all the kids would start acting up. It would be total chaos. I've also noticed in myself and my daughter that during the times of a full moon, we're a little more irritable. And I've also noticed that working with clients, like in mental health settings as well. So it's definitely true. Somehow those energies are working, right? And so I was very, very drained, very tired. I don't know if anybody else has experienced that. So in my community tab under that song about the colors of the wind, I had mentioned on there that I was posting that song because that song opened up like a divine sort of download for me. So over the past week, it's been very strange. I've been very tired, and so I'll try to take a bath or something, like taking a bath or meditating to relax and to recharge. That's what I do, just different things that would do that for me. So I was spending a little bit more time doing that. So I was taking a bath and meditating at the same time. And in doing that, I started to have these divine downloads, and they were just things that I didn't, more and more stuff that I'm learning that I did not know about, our reality and things like that, and about myself. So I will be making some videos about that here soon. But yeah, one of the things that happened during that time, I had about 3 different times that I had all kinds of weird visions and things happening that made a lot of sense. So I see them as insights. But during the third one, the last one, it came to me that I needed to look up that song and listen to it. And I listened to it, and it was just what I needed at the time. I can't really pinpoint what it was about the song, but it kind of ties into what we're talking about today. But something about it, just all my emotions started to come out with it. It was very beautiful. So I'm just sharing that song just in case anybody else is going through that as well. And I put on there too, anybody else, experiencing, this low energy or maybe some sort of awakening or opening happening, because I am definitely feeling some very, very strong energies, very interesting things about, and especially about identities and the intersection of identities. And it was very interesting because it wasn't just, an insight about it. It was literally, I could see my timeline, almost like I was hovering above, kind of like a near-death experience. And I could see the points where there was an intersection and a change of a timeline. So I really am looking forward to sharing some of these things with y'all. But this video, again, was more focused on the good and the bad. So inherently, everything's neutral. There is no good and bad. Anything you've done that you've considered good or bad wasn't neither. You didn't even do it. Okay, so you're free of that. There is no good and bad, right or wrong, manifesting good or bad. It's you that colors it. You color life by your perception of it. And if it is something that really you don't prefer, how can you paint with that? How can you integrate that? Or how can you use that to your advantage or transform that through your energy, through your love, and transform that negative thing into something more positive? Or can you wait? Can you be patient to see how life plays that out for you? So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new here and you like this kind of content, please subscribe to my channel. If you'd like to leave a comment or question down below, I would love to read them. And my email is in the description box. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are divinely inspired today, and lots of love from me to you. Thank you so much.